This video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and while supplies last, if you mention Saffron Olive in your order notes, we'll hook you up with a free Saffron Olive sticker with any Card Kingdom order. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. So this week, we are heading again to my favoriteest format, which is Pioneer, and we are playing 8-Whack, one of my favorite decks, and it takes a little bit of work to get 8-Whack to actually work, I guess, in the Pioneer format, but the end result is not only pretty powerful, I think, but ridiculously cheap. This is a $40 deck that I think is actually pretty competitive. So this build, initially I saw this from Metagato on MTGO, and then I made some changes to it, a little bit of customization, things I didn't like about it. So kind of dual credit, I guess, for this one. A quick reminder before we break down the super aggressive, ultra cheap 8-Whack for Pioneer. If you enjoy Budget Magic and the other series here on the channel, it would be so sweet of you if you take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk some Pioneer 8-Whack, starting with Reckless Bushwhacker. So one of the weird things about 8-Whack and Pioneer is we don't actually have 8 real whacks. Goblin Bushwhacker, not legal. These cards, if you've never seen them before, basically, when you play them for 2 mana, Reckless Bushwhacker would surge. Not only does it give the rest of your creatures +1/+0 until end of turn, but it gives them all haste, which allows for some really explosive, massive attacks. So since we only have 1 real whack in the format, we gotta make do with kind of a pseudo whack in Castle Embereth. Castle Embereth is perfect for this deck because it kind of does the Bushwhacker thing. For 3 mana and tapping it, we give our creatures +1/+0. So this gives us a bit of protection from flooding, and unlike a true Bushwhacker, which is a one-shot effect, once we build up our board, get to turn 4 where we have 4 mana, we can do this every single turn. If we keep drawing lands off the top, it's like we have a Bushwhacker that's always sitting on the battlefield waiting to pump our team. So really awesome addition for the deck. So that's kind of the main core of the deck. To go wide with a bunch of cheap creatures, pump them with Bushwhacker or Castle Embereth, kill our opponent with a huge swarm of attack. We start things off with a 1-drop slot. And these cards, they all have different upsides, they all do different things, but really, they're here to start our curve on turn 1, and then on turn 3, allow us to go 1-drop into Reckless Bushwhacker with Surge, because we do need to cast a spell before Bushwhacker to Surge it and get the whack effect. So Fanatical Firebrand comes down, hasty, hits our opponent for 1, can also shoot down like Elvish Mystics, Llanowar Elves, which are pretty relevant cards in the format. Legion Loyalist makes it so tokens can't block, which in some matchups does absolutely nothing. In other matchups, it's absolutely insane and like the best card in our entire deck. Plus Trample and First Strike, nice little bonus for getting through chump blockers. And then Foundry Street Denizen, our only non-hasty 1-drop, gets really big as we cast red creatures. As you'll see in our 2-drop slot, we have quite a few cards that put 2 red creatures on the battlefield with 1 card. So something like turn 1 Foundry Street Denizen, turn 2 Dragon Fodder or Goblin Instigator lets our Denizen hit for 3 on turn 2 and start getting in damage, and it's really key to the deck because our main plan with this deck is to mostly dump our hand, get in early damage, and hopefully get our opponent low enough that if we can't finish the game with our creatures, maybe our opponent has a Wrath or something, then we're able to finish them off with burn spells. So 2-drops, we essentially have 8 copies of the same card, Dragon Fodder, Goblin Instigator. They're worded slightly different, one's a creature, one's a sorcery, but really, they each put 2 1/1 goblins on the battlefield for 2 mana, so works really well with our Bushwhackers because the more creatures we can get, the better our everything gets +1/+0 effects are going to be. So 2 creatures for the price of 1, really awesome for the deck. Then we have kind of our combo piece, which is Burning Tree Emissary. And one of the sweet things about this deck is we do have just like this weird I win the game nut draw. Sometimes we have like 2 or 3 Burning Tree Emissaries in our hand, and we can play a 1-drop, turn 2, Burning Tree, Burning Tree, Burning Tree, top it off with a Reckless Bushwhacker, and just hit our opponent for like 10 or 12 or some ridiculously high amount of damage, depending on exactly what our cards are, how many Burning Tree Emissaries we have, what our 1-drop was, but some massive amount of damage on turn 2. In those games, it's usually just kind of elementary that we go on to win from there. So Burning Tree Emissary just puts a ton of bodies on the board for free and works really well with Reckless Bushwhacker. I mentioned that our main goal for this deck is to get in damage early, and then if things go wrong, our opponent Supreme Verdicts us or something, then we're going to try to finish off the game with some burn spells. So we have Shock and Lightning Strike, 2 damage, 3 damage, can hit creatures, get blockers out of the way, to force through our big attacks, or just goes to our opponent's face, and then Stoke the Flame is kind of our big finisher. It's 4 damage for 4 mana, but we can convoke it, so this allows us to do some sweet things, like if we're going to be casting a Stoke the Flame, casting Dragon Fodders and Goblin Instigators are essentially free. All of our 1-drops are essentially free, because we cast them, but then can immediately tap them for convoke mana. So it gives us some really explosive turns and just a huge burst of damage to close out the game, and is really key, especially if we lose the die roll, we're in a control matchup, our opponent's able to take a couple of hits from our team, slow down the game, maybe get a sweeper or something, then these spells come in and get in the last 5 points of damage, 8 points of damage, and close out the game. Mana base wise, 4 Castle Empress in our whack slot, we already talked about them, it's absurd in this deck, 16 Mountain, so pretty straightforward, about as cheap as it could be. Sideboard wise, we get a ton of removal customization. A Braid to deal with artifacts or creatures, Roast to deal with bigger creatures, Fry to deal with white or blue creatures, or Teferis and Okos. Goblin Chain Whirler, good against small creature decks, just a very strong card. A 3/3 first strike is not bad, the damage is relevant if it gets a couple of creatures. Then we have, for controlling matchups, Experimental Frenzy, a way to maybe rebuild after a Wrath. That is one of the downsides. The way our deck loses is, first off, our opponent rests the board. Second off, we draw too many lands. The games we lose are when we draw 7 lands out of 14 cards or something, when we're only playing 20 lands in our deck. So Experimental Frenzy, it's a way to fight through those sweepers in control matchups. Scab Camp Berserker, it looks weird, but it's basically for the Nexus of Fate decks. We can come down, hit our opponent with it, make it rain down. Whenever our opponent casts a non-creature spell, they gotta take 2 damage. So it makes it really hard for our opponent to just chain together Dig Through Times into Nexus of Fates, into Tamios. They really need to be able to kill this Scab Camp Berserker, and for a straight blue-green deck, that can actually be a pretty big challenge. So that's kind of our answer to Nexus of Fate. Tibble, good at preventing life gain, which is also relevant. If our opponent's playing a ton of life gain effects, it's bad for us, plus the tokens are fine on their own. We have Tormod's Grip for Graveyard, Smash the Smithereens for artifacts, and that is $40 8-whack for Pioneer, and that's our budget Magic deck for this week. So let's jump into the gameplay, see if we can whack some fools in Pioneer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon. Alright, budget Magic time. We are whacking in Pioneer. Pioneer 8-whack. And, this hand's okay. The Castle Empress are nice. Fanatical Firebrand. Go to combat. Get in. Technically, we only have 4 real whacks, because Goblin Bushwhacker isn't in the format, but Castle Empress is essentially another whack in a weird way. Opponent, getting some energy. Sure. Long Tusk Cub. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to shock that before it can grow. Castle Empress, shock Long Tusk Cub. Opponent in the tank. Let's just Fanatical Firebrand. Go to combat. Get in. Hit our opponent. Down to 17. Pass the turn. So next turn we could potentially Lightning Strike plus Legion Loyalist. Attune with Ether. Alright, opponent building up their energy. Plays a Mountain. And passes. Well, Castle Empress, Legion Loyalist. Going to combat. Attack. Opponent, 14. We ship the turn. Sulfur Falls for our opponent. We have 11 points, 12, 13 points of burn. We're actually not that far away from burning our opponent out of this game. Even if we can't keep getting in with creatures. Rogue Refiner. Opponent. Energy. Draws a card. Oh, let's see what we draw. We're not going to Lightning Strike yet. Let's see what we draw. If we draw land, okay, that's good. Now we get to go to combat. Attack. Trigger. First strike trample. Opponent. Gonna block. Sneaky whack in the mana base. Bump him. Opponent goes to 10. Okay. Okay. The burn's looking good. The burn's looking good. We got a chance. We got a chance. Opponent. Rootbound Craig. Glorybringer. Yep. Are we exerting? Opponent attacks, exerts. Kills the Loyalist. Okay. That's fine. I think the burn plan might get there. Down to 16. Untap. Pump the Dorks. Oh, Castle Empress is so good. Combat. Opponent. Down to 4. And our opponent's going to need something really good to get back in this. Wait, down to 6 rather. But our opponent's still going to need something really good to get back in this. Because we're presenting lethal direct damage here. Opponent. Glorybringer 2. That's fine. That should be game, I think. Actually, is it game? Opponent. Gets it. Kills Firebrand. Yeah. Down to 12. We untap. Well, we will. Let's stoke the flame. Yeah, we're 1 mana short from having lethal. Stoke the Flame, opponent goes to 2. If we had 1 more mana, we could have Lightning Striked. Loyalist, opponent goes to 1. Double Glorybringer, not enough? Against the Wax, opponent untaps. 5 energy, 2 Glorybringers. 1 has been exerted. No life gain, please. No life gain. I don't know what sneaky life gain this deck could have. Attune, more energy. I mean, I guess they could potentially, like, spin, like, Marvel into something if they're playing Marvel. They are up to 7 energy. Opponent. Whirler Virtuoso. Okay. So that makes a bunch of blockers. Sort of. Opponent gets in. We mostly want to draw land. Land lets us have 2 burn spells, which is what we want, just in case there's a counter of some kind. Yup. We drop to 8. Untap. All right, Castle Embreth. So we will Lightning Strike for lethal. With Stoke the Flame back up. Did we get there? Oh, okay. Whack and energy. That was close. That ended up being a lot closer than I was hoping it would be, but we did get there. Do we want to change anything? I almost don't think we do. A braid, fry, roast, chain whirler. Doesn't kill much. I guess we could bring in the frenzy, maybe? Frenzy seems fine. Maybe like frenzy over 1 dragon fodder. Try it like that. We already have a lot of burn, so we can deal with creatures. Like, worst case, ideally we want to be throwing burn in our opponent's face to kill them, but if we have to, we can kill creatures with it. Yeah, all right, sure. I'm going to want to land at some point, but opponent. Forest, and passes. All right, now we want no more lands. Forever. Opponent adapts. Hinterland Harbor. Opponent passes. I'm going to play a mountain, play Dragon Fodder. Pass the turn. Either up for our opponent. This sets us up for a nice whack turn here, potentially. Long Tusk Cup. Opponent. Pass it. I'll play a mountain. Play Foundry Street Denizen. Surge a Bushwhacker. Get some triggers. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent blocks. And trades. Down to 14. Yep, that's fine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points of burn in hand. Hinterland Harbor for our opponent. Bristling Hydra. Yeah. And passes. Yep, go to combat. Attack. Opponent drops to 12. All right. Now our game plan is to resolve 12 points worth of burn. Rootbound Crag. Another Bristling Hydra. Well, can we do it before we get burnt out? Or beat down? Shock our opponent. Down to 10. Lightning Strike our opponent. Down to 7. Untap. Oh. Yeah, let's Stoke. Oh, could we die? I don't think so. Yeah, Stoke the Flame. Opponent to 3. Shock you to 1. Your go. Kill us, gain life, or die. Opponent. Mountain. What do they have? Please no life gain. Oh, they get a spin. Oh my goodness, what do they spin into? They are playing Marvel. Spins the Marvel. What do they find? Whiff, 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 whiff. Whiff, 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 whiff. Whiff, 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 whiff. Oh, I forgot how intense Marvel activations are. This is literally the game in the top 6 cards. Woo! Roguery Fighter! Okay. That is much less scary than I thought. Opponent passes. We will Dragon Fodder. Stoke the Flame. Dragon Fodder is basically free since we get to tap our creatures. Shock back up. Burn them out, burn them out, burn them out. Not in time with the Marvel activation. Well, we did have to dodge our opponent activating Marvel, but we still whacked him. Jeez, for 40 bucks, this deck feels pretty powerful. Whew, sweet, 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 sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are looking to 8 whack. Well, we can't keep this. This is ye ol' Zero Lander. Yeah, gotta ship it. All right, this we can keep. We can put a mountain to the bottom. We got stuff. We don't really have any wax. Opponent. Thraben Inspector. Well, play a mountain. Play Foundry Street Denizen. Pass the turn. Opponent. Castle Ardenvale. Passes. Well, play a mountain. Play Burning Tree Emissary. Add some mana. Lightning Strike Thraben Inspector. Opponent gonna crack the clue. All right, here comes the damages. Hit our opponent. Down 2. 18. Opponent. Legion's Landing. Sure. And Thraben Inspector. Legion Loyalist is not bad. Play Legion Loyalist. Trigger. Castle Embreth. Fanatical Firebrand. Go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent. Well, we will kill that. Opponent down to 13. Tokens, no blockerinos. As long as this Legion's Loyalist sticks around. Cracks the clue. Desperation. I feel desperation. Opponent. Field of Ruin. Alright. Gets in. Might as well. Can't block anyway. Ooh, Mountain is nice. Go to combat. All attack. Pump. Opponent. Down to 7. Opponent. Are we going to Field of Ruin our Castle Embreth? No. Gideon of the Trials. Okay. That does temporarily slow us down. Takes up on Burning Tree Emissary. Opponent gets in for 1. Oh, if we draw a whack here, we win. Mountain. Well, play Dragon Fodder. Trigger, trigger. Go to combat. Gideon, Gideon. Kill Gideon. Pass the turn. Oh, we're close. We're close. This Castle Embreth, though, is probably going to get Field of Ruin. An opponent scoops it up. Okay, we got there. That was not a insane draw, but it was good enough. Good enough, good enough. Well, against this deck, seems like a good Whirly Boy matchup. Goblin Chain Whirler. Also, Tybalt. We saw a lot of, like, life gain. At least enough life gain that I think we're interested in Tybalt. And the Fries seem reasonable, since they can also kill a Gideon, along with killing creatures. The question is, what do we cut? That's going to be the tricky part. 6 cards we want to bring in. Maybe we go... Oh, we didn't see that many creatures. What is our opponent's deck doing? How good are these Chain Whirlers? That is the question. We could, like, go down probably, like, a couple of Stoke the Flames. Maybe we go 2 Chain Whirlers. Trim a couple Lightning Strikes and maybe 1 Foundry Street. Try it like that. Foundry Street seems like it's going to get chumped like crazy in this matchup. And since its power doesn't grow, it's a little worse. Okay. We got a good curve. We'll see what our opponent has. Legion's Landing. We do not have a Legion's Loyalist at the moment. I'll play a Mountain, Foundry Street, Denizen. Ship the turn. Oh, man. Maybe we could get a Chain Whirler Blowout. That would be sweet. Opponent gets in. Hits us. Gains a life. 19, 21. Opponent. Oh boy. This Chain Whirler. This Chain Whirler. Opponent passes. Play a Mountain. Play Dragon Fodder. Unfortunately, we can't actually attack. So far, this Chain Whirler is looking like it might be everything we dreamed. Opponent. Combat. No. Okay. Well, we will play a Mountain. Whirler. Coming down. Ping, ping. See you later, tokens. Go to combat. Hit ya. And that's what we were hoping for. Oh, the sideboard Chain Whirler being as good as we dreamed. Opponent. Not hitting their land drops. Deckenstone gets our tokens, sure. I'll play Instigator. Play Firebrand. Go to combat. All attack. Opponent. Down to 9? Down to 8. Okay. I mean, opponent needs something insane. Not enough lands to stop the whacking. And opponent scoops it up. And for being like a $40 deck, that was a pretty good performance. I mean, our opponent did bumble around with lands a little bit, but still, whacked him. Whacked him good. All right, budget magic time. We are 8-whacking in Pioneer, and all right. 3 lands is kind of close to the max that we want, but this hand's... Well, if we're going to draw land number 4, Castle Embreth is probably the best. Definitely the best, actually, land we could draw, because at least that does something with all of our extra mana. We might be up against Phoenix here. We will see. Opponent opts another tap land and passes. I'll play a Mountain, run out Dragon Fodder, go to combat, get in. Stoke the Flame is nice if this is Phoenix, because it means we can actually kill a thing in the ice with just 1 card. Which is kind of important, because if all of our tokens get bounced, that makes us very sad. Oh. Anger of the Gods also makes us very sad if this is Jeskai control. Opponent. Deafening Clarion. That also That counts. That counts. Play a mountain. Pass the turn. Ugh. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We needed one more attack, I think, before we could realistically burn our opponent out of the game. Now let's Legion Loyalist. Opponent has Sinister Sabotage. Yeah, opponent might have stabilized. Leaves a card on top. That is also bad. Opponent untaps. Island. Teferi. Oh dear. Yeah. This is probably a bad matchup. Boom. Instigator. What do you say, opponent? Alright, we kind of have a threat-ish. Unfortunately, our opponent has Teferi and can just keep going off with card draw. Opponent ops. Well, I guess we do this now. Everything's going phase. There's no way we will ever win this game if we throw damage at Teferi. Opponent down to 12. 8 points of burn in hand. There is a world we need these creatures to live. That's 4 points of damage if it somehow works. Opponent takes up Teferi to 6. Little Teferi bounces our token. Hallowed Fountain, tapped. Teferi allows our opponent to untap some lands. Well, go to combat, attack our opponent. Hit our opponent to 11. Foundry Street Denizen. Pass the turn. Azorius Charm draws a card. Takes up Teferi, draws some cards. Plays a land. Sweeper. Alright, yeah. Yeah. Alright, let's go to sideboarding. We got Teferi'd. Main deck Deafening Clarion is pretty good against us. Pretty good. We can bring in a couple of Fries, which in theory can kill a Teferi. I guess we can bring in Experimental Frenzy. Probably trim Shocks, since they are our least powerful. Ugh. Yeah, this is rough. There's not a whole lot of main deck sweeper decks outside of these control decks, but this is one. Well, we're going to be on the play, which is good. That is many lands. Turn 1 Foundry Street. Turn 2 Dragon Fodder, hit for 3. But then if we get Wrath, we got nothing. Let's mulligan. That's just... Oh, no! Oh, it got way worse! Way worse. All right, we will keep. We will put 2 lands to the bottom. Oh, this is not good. Not good at all. Foundry Street Denizen, go. Well, nightmare situation. Play a mountain. Dragon Fodder. The problem is, we don't really have a good recovery plan. We do have the one Experimental Frenzy, but if our opponent can Wrath our board, which they have been very good at, we don't really have... Oh my god, Erish. Okay. Oh, it's getting worse. Getting worse by the second. Instigator. Make some dorks. Play a land. Legion Loyalist. Attack. I mean, if our opponent has a sweeper, we just scoop. Opponent blocks. Well, do you have it, opponent? Steam Vents. Untapped. They... Okay. Not sweeping our board? No, play a mountain. Go to combat. Attack. Sweeper Tribal! Sweeper Tribal! Alright, fair enough. Hi! Okay, that wasn't great. There was no whacking of the control deck there for sure. Oh, man. Well, we mauled Oblivion in game 2, which didn't help. We just had 4 lands into 6 lands on the mulligans, which left us in a position where there was not really a way to beat a sweeper. And in all honesty, that deck just has an infinite number of sweepers. Fiery Cannonade? Who does that? Who plays it in Pioneer other than our opponent, apparently? So, yes. That's, we're just going to chalk that up to not a good matchup for us. All right. Budget Magic time. We are playing $40 8-whack in Pioneer. And, I mean, the whack part, bit of a stretch. A little bit. But this hand's actually pretty good. We have a whack, essentially, in Castle Embereth. We need one more land, but that is our pseudo whacks 5 through 8, since we don't have literal Goblin Bush. Huh, okay. Well, let's be aggressive, I guess. There's a land, so play Burning Tree Emissary. Boy, if they have Gates Ablaze, I'm going to be sad. Go to combat, attack. I mean, we're going to get in a lot of damage 2 turns from now, but if our opponent Gates Ablazes... Ooh, we lose a lot. Opponent. Abriel Grazer. Sure. Gate. Oh, please don't Gates Ablaze us. Not that. I'm almost wondering if we even play Dragon Fodder. Field of the Dead. Okay. Play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent blocks. Opponent's at 15. Do we play Dragon Fodder? Can we afford to play around Gates Ablaze? Alright, so if we don't play Dragon Fodder, next turn, Castle Embreth, pump. We get in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're not gonna play it. We're not gonna play it. Yeah, I think we gotta hold back just in case. Opponent, Maze's End. Abriel Grazer. Well, no Gates Ablaze, although this is a lot of blockers. Another Field of the Dead. Fae of Wishes. Well, I kind of think we should have just ran out everything now. Opponent, passing. That is a lot of defense. Well, play a Goblin Instigator. Play Dragon Fodder. Pass the turn. No attacks. All right, next turn. Oh boy. Oh, maybe we're worrying about Gates Ablaze for no reason. Opponent. Once I get to start making zombies, this gets very bad very quick. Opponent. Guild Summit. Draws a card. Oh, no land? Okay. No land. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. All attack. Opponent blocks, and blocks, and blocks. Well, let's whack them. Opponent down to 5. Loses a Grazer. We lose a Fanatical Firebrand. Opponent. They need a sweeper. We're actually in pretty good shape now. Opponent missing that land drop. Pretty key. Fires of Invention. Okay. And there's the Gates Ablaze. Alright. Well, come on. Burn spell. We need a burn spell. We need a burn spell. We got Lightning Strike. We need a burn spell. Castle Embreth. Play Legion Loyalist. Oh, no. They did have Gates Ablaze. So I guess we were right to be concerned about Gates Ablaze. Pass the turn. Oh, but now they get to pick up Fae of Wishes and tutor with Fae of Wishes and cast what they tutor with Fae of Wishes. Oh, we're going to end up just short. Root. Gets a couple gates. Draws some car. Oh, goodness. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Give us a... Oh, for the love of God. Give us a shock. Give us a shock. Vote it. Agent of Treachery. Sure. Gonna steal Legion Loyalist. I mean, do we draw Burn Spell? That is the game. That is it. That's everything. We have a bunch in our deck. Vote it. Gonna get in for 1. Get in for 2. Well, we gotta Lightning Strike our opponent's face. And then pray to the magic gods for Burn Spell. We have 11 in our deck, I believe, so Lightning Strike you. 2. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Yes! Yes, okay. Oh, our deck came through. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, was that close. Opponent can't cast anything because of Fires of Invention. Sure, you can tune out a gate. I don't think there's a gate that does anything here, though. You make zombies, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, you don't make zombies. Opponent gets a gate, draws a card. But they can't cast spells because they have Fires of Invention. Sure, that's fine. Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right. Well, somehow we overcame a Gates Ablaze. Bad news is, I guess we can bring in, like, Frenzy. Bad news is, Gates Ablaze is still a thing. And we don't really have a easy way of beating it. What do we do about Gates Ablaze? I guess we just try to play around it as well as we can. What do we cut? We'll bring in the Frenzy. Tormod Script, no. Abrade, no. Fry, no. Roast, no. Smash, no. Tybalt. Tybalt might be worth it. Let's go down to 2 Dragon Fodders. Alright, try it like that. Well, Frenzy allows us to rebuild, maybe. And Tybalt prevents life gain, which is somewhat a concern. Oh, okay. I mean, we got to keep this. The bad news is this is a hand that gets Gates Ablaze pretty hard. Voted. Tap land. And passes. Well, play land. Legion Loyalist. Get in for 1. Drawing a Reckless Bushwhacker would be nice. I think our main game plan is to get in enough damage before we get Gates Ablaze that we can then burn our opponent out. Burning Tree, Instigator, get in for 1. Oh, come on. No untap land Gates Ablaze, please. Please, please, please. Opponent. It would be nice to at least get in one hit. All right, tap land. Passes. We are not going to run out another Instigator, I don't think. Burning Tree. I'll play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack. Gonna hold back to rebuild if there is a Gates Ablaze here. Opponent plays a land. Fires of Invention. And Supreme Verdict. Yep. Alright. Well, only good news is opponent is down to not that many cards. We draw a Mountain. Play the Mountain. Play Burning Tree. If they have a second Wrath, then we're probably just super dead. Burning Tree. Instigator. Instigator. No second Wrath, please? If they have a second Wrath, they're still at 13. I don't think there's a way we can get back from there. Opponent untaps. Fires of Invention. Can cast 2 spells. Guild Summit. Gonna draw a bunch of cards. Yeah. Draws 3. Up to 6 in hand. Do they hit a sweeper? Draws another. Do they hit a sweeper? Grazer. Okay. That gives us hope. We're gonna get an attack here. And then we're burn spells away from maybe closing it out because we get in for 8. Okay, we have a chance. We have a chance. Opponent passing. We draw. Ooh, Bushwhacker. Well, play Castle Embreth. Go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent can't cast spells. They have a Fires of Invention. There is a drawback. Opponent blocks. Well, we whack them. Get in for 8. Opponent down to 5. They lose the Grazer. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent. They still need the sweeper. And then we're a creature into Bushwhacker away from maybe winning. Opponent gonna tutor from the sideboard with Granted. What do they tutor? Gotta be a sweeper. Oh, but we got him. Oh, we got our opponent low enough. Chandra Awaken Inferno. We got our opponent low enough that we're a burn spell away from potentially winning. There's a Chandra. Gonna sweep our board. No elementals. Yup. All right, deck. A little bit more love. Just a tiny bit. Not a land here. Opponent, land, draws a card. We draw. We have a lot of I win draws, but Castle Embreth is not one of them. That's a lot of lands. Well, Reckless Bushwhacker. Oh, that was the worst time to draw land number 6. Hit our opponent to 3, pass the turn. Oh, that was our chance to even beat Supreme Verdict and Chandra. That was our chance. But, we've somehow managed to draw as many lands in 13 cards as our Guild Summit opponent has drawn in 40 or something. Yeah, 6 out of 13 is pretty rough in a 20-land deck. If we had drawn one more spell, 1 or 2 more spells, rather than all these lands, I think we win. I mean, we still have hope. Our hope is our opponent doesn't have life gain and we draw a burn spell. Like, if that happens, we still win this game. So it's not over by any stretch. But if we had drawn one more spell in 1 to 2 less lands, and that is the traditional Bushwhacker problem. Like, playing an 8-whack style deck, that is the traditional problem of the deck that, there's Plaza Harmony. Yeah, alright. And that probably does it. Now our opponent's back out of burn range, and I think we can scoop it up. Gate Colossus, sure, whatever. Yeah, I think it is officially concession time. Oh, a little bit too land heavy, unfortunately. But like I said, that is one of the traditional drawbacks of playing 8-whack. Is sometimes you draw 7 lands out of 14 cards in your 20-land deck, and when you have those games, you just don't win. Like, that is a problem that is kind of just traditional. That when you have the bad variance game, since you're mono red and you don't really have any card filtering, I guess we have the one experimental frenzy, but you don't really have card filtering or card draw, so if your opponent has multiple wraths and you run unluckily like we did there, then it is really hard to actually win. This hand is medium. I like Tibalt. Opponent's mulliganing, which is probably not a bad thing. Only bad news is we have 2 lands and no whack, so we're kind of trying to get there with 1/1s for the most part. Mountain. Seeing opponents mull to 5 in a World of London mulligans is not actually... In the old days, if your opponent mulled to 5, you kind of assumed you're going to win. I assume our opponent's going to have turn 3 Guild Summit, turn 4 Fires of Invention or something. That is the London mulligan way. Even when you mull to 5, your hand is usually still insane. Castle Embreth, very strong. That's a good draw. That gives us some whack action in the future. Get in with Legion Loyalists, hit our opponent. So we're 1 land away from starting to Castle Embreth. Opponent, Gateway Plaza, sure. And we have a bunch of burn in hand, which is nice. Play a mountain, go to combat, attack, hit our opponent, play Tybalt. Do we make a 1/1? Yeah. I mean, our opponent has to have untap land and Gates Ablaze. Untap land. Wow, they have literally the nuts. Okay. Well, sure. Opponent's to 14. Well, that was exactly what our opponent wanted. The deck does not have that many untap lands, and they mulled to 5, but opponent's hitting it. All right, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. What you got? You got another one? Hopefully not. We need one big attack, really. If we can get in for 6, then we can potentially just burn our opponent out. Well, now we can. Okay, that's very good. Go attacking. Now we have enough burn in hand that we should be able to close out this game. Through the Gates Ablaze. Put it down to 8. We have 11 points of burn in hand and a Tybalt to prevent life gain, which is even more important. So even if our opponent gets to Wrath here, I think we're still good. Fires of Invention. Arboreal Grazer. Into a Guild Gate. And a Forest. All right. Can we close this out? Opponent passing. Actually, we just win directly, don't we? 1, 2, 3, 4. If we draw land, Fanatical Firebrand. Oh, that works too. So we get to Stoke the Flames. Opponent can't cast spells because of fires. Stoke the Flames down to 4. Lightning Strike down to 1. Fanatical Firebrand. Ping ya. Okay. Wow, there were a lot of sweepers, but I guess that kind of shows the power of the deck that we won a matchup where we got our board swept repeatedly, again and again and again and again, and the one game we lost is the one where we drew 7 lands out of 14 cards, which that is kind of the 8-whack problem. Those are the bad games with 8-whack, but, all right. I mean, I guess we can win sweeper matchups. That was not bad. Not bad at all. Sweet, sweet. All right. Budget Magic time. We are playing, oh man, this hand. We are playing $40 8-whack and Pioneer, and we're keeping this. We need a land. If we draw a land, this is our nut draw. Double Burning Tree Emissary. All right. Loyalist, get in for 1. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Give us a land. We have Burning Tree, Bushwhacker. That's so much damage. Opponent, overgrow 2. Shocks himself, 17. And Winding Constrictor. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Give us a land. That's a land. All right, we're just going for it. Burning Tree. Getting in the damage while we can. Burning Tree. Yes. Burning Tree. Yes. Whack you. Yes. And here we come. All attack. Get in those damages. Opponent. Eats a Legion Loyalist. Drops to 9. Okay. Untaps. Forest. Rishkar. Yeah, it's going to make some big dorks. So we kind of want burn spells now, I think. Opponent passes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, play Goblin Instigator. Pass the turn. No attacks this turn. We're getting close. We got in the big hit. Little worried about a Walking Ballista. Opponent. There's Walking Ballista. Stone Coil Serpent. Opponent passing. What we want most is Fanatical Firebrand. 3, 5, 6. Alright, play Fanatical Firebrand. Ugh. Pass the turn. That Ballista is super, 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 super bad news. That was the one card we needed our opponent not to have, and it's the one card our opponent did have. Pings. We need to draw Stoke the Flame. That's our card that can win us this game. Tune with Ether. Sure. Gets a Swamp. Plays the Swamp. Has another Winding Constrictor. Just infinite Winding Constrictors here for our opponent. No attacks. Well, we will untap. Stoke. Burning Tree. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent. If they go to put a counter on Ballista, we're going to try to kill it. Yeah, alright. So, kill Ballista. Ping our opponent. Alright, opponent's at 8 and has some really big scary creatures. But we got through the Ballista. Unfortunately, it puts us down a burn spell. Tireless Tracker. Land. Clue. Opponent. Gets in. Stoke the Flame. Gets in. Well, we're going to take it, I guess. So many blockers. Opponent passes. We still need to Stoke the Flame. We draw a Mountain. We play Foundry Street Denizen. Pass the turn. I guess the other way we could win is our opponent getting overly greedy with an attack. They just have enough blockers that we can't actually get in damage here. Yeah, I think we gotta let this go. I think our only realistic chance of winning is to hit our opponent's face. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Well, we'll take 7. Down to 8. Opponent passes. Castle Embreth. Still doesn't allow us to get in damage. Play Burning Tree. Now we got a chump block, though. Grow the Dorks. So if we pump blocks. Yeah, alright. I think they got us. The Ballista! And also, triple Hardened Scales draw, which is just insane. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Quadruple Hardened Scales draw. Combat. The bad news is, we don't actually win by drawing a Stoke the Flame. We're 1 point of damage short. Opponent passes. Play Dragon Fodder. Still a point of damage short. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Attune with Ether. Energy. Land. Tracker. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Well, we'll block a Tireless Tracker. If we're dead, we're dead. If they have a Ballista. We can't beat a Ballista shooting down our board anyway. Clue. Grows the Dorks. And there's a Ballista. Yup. Alright. Oh, we had a good draw, but our opponent just had an even better draw. Opponent's draw was, about as good as it gets, I think. Bring in 2 Abrades. Bring in a Smash to Smithereens. And possibly the Roasts. Oh, I really wanted that draw to work. It felt like we had the draw we wanted, but the draw did not actually let us win that game. Trim a couple shocks. Maybe like Foundry Street. Foundry Street just seems to get stonewalled. Couple Foundry Streets and maybe a Burning Tree. Run it like that. All right, we get a bit more removal, but I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't actually win that one. That was one of the best starting hands that we've had. It just did not work out. Well, I mean, I guess we keep this. Although, it is not a super exciting hand. I mean, I guess it's fine. We do have a Bushwhacker. We have a Lightning Strike, but the Lightning Strike's probably going to have to go after a creature, I assume. Opponent. Untaps. Forest. Shaper's Sanctuary. You're going to try to draw some cards. We draw Dragon Fodder. We'll play the land, play Goblin Instigator. Go to combat. Get in with Legion Loyalist. Hit our opponent. 18. Pass the turn. Ether Hub for our opponent. A little bit of energy. And Constrictor. What do we draw? Ooh, Loyalist. Well, kill Winding Constrictor. Opponent gets to draw a card. Play a Mountain. We're not going to Loyalist. We're going to save that for next turn, potentially. Go attacking. If we don't draw a land and our opponent doesn't put up too much defense, we can Loyalist Bushwhacker. If we do draw a land, Dragon Fodder Bushwhacker is even better. Overgrown Tomb. Untap 13. Okay. Scavenging Ooze. Opponent passes. Well, let's play Dragon Fodder. Pass the turn, leave up Stoke the Flame. No attacks. And now we'll see what our opponent does. Opponent untaps. We have the option to kill Scavenging Ooze, Tireless Tracker, Ether Hub, Energy. Wait, does this win us the game? Opponent. So let's think about this. We can stoke our opponent down to 9. Loyalist Bushwhacker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 2/2s. Oh yeah, alright. Well, stoke you. Down to 9. Untap. Foundry Street. Bushwhacker. Pump. Everything hasty. Opponent can go up to 10, but this still should be lethal. Attack with everything. Trigger, trample, first strike. And I think we got Xaxes. That is the power of the whack. Stoke the Flame so good. Opponent scoops it up. Oh, that was a less insane draw. Opponent, I wonder if our opponent over sideboarded. I don't know about Shaper Sanctuary against us, honestly. Like, it's okay, but is it really good? I'm not actually sure that it counts as really good. The shocks do seem good. They seem even better being on the draw here. We can potentially kill something on turn 1. Maybe we go down like a Stoke the Flame and a Roast. Let's try it like that. We got to keep the critical mass of creatures for our whack plan. So I don't think we can take away too many of them. All right, this will keep. Opponent, Forest, and Hardened Scales. That's not the first card we want to see. Now play a Mountain, Fanatical Firebrand. Go to combat, get in for 1. Hit our opponent. Opponent. Blooming Marsh, and Stone Coil Serpent. Now play the Mountain, play Instigator. Pass the turn. Gotta hope for no Ballista, specifically. Forest for our opponent. Rishkar. Alright, opponent's making some big old orcs, that's for sure. Opponent grows the Serpent. Gets in for 5. Yeah. I'll play the Castle Embreth. Awkward, awkward, awkward. Very, very awkward. Dragon Fodder. Pass the turn. Oh, I think it's slipping away. I feel like the die roll has proven itself to be huge in this matchup. Opponent, Attuned with Ether, Energy, Combat. I'm gonna keep attacking. We will take it. Down to 10. Wouldn't mind a land here. Alright, there's a land. So we get to Dragon Fodder. Pass the turn. So the plan is... no attacks. The plan is we are going to Abrade Stone Coil Serpent. Next turn, Instigator Bushwhacker, and go from there. Opponent, Ether Hub. No ballistas. Opponent, combat. Attacks. Well, we will Abrade Stone Coil Serpent. Blossoming Defense. Oh. Yeah, I think that's going to probably kill us. Down to 3. Opponent passes. 5, 6. Wow, that Blossoming Defense. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we end up a point of damage short and then lose. All right, so I think what we have to do is Stoke the Flame, Stone Coil, Fanatical Firebrand, Stone Coil. Pass the turn. We are stuck in chump blocking mode, and we're also stuck in if our opponent ever top decks Ballista mode, we're dead. Tune with Ether. Get some energy. Oh, if that Abrade worked, we win this game. Opponent, combat. Gets in. Well, we will chump. Stay at 3. Untap. Oh, that changes things. Stoke the Flame. Kill Rishkar. Go to combat. Attack. Nothing has haste, right? I mean, we're dead to Ballista. Hit our opponent. Okay, this is it. Opponent, Fatal Pushes. 1 card, no Ballista. Drops to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Opponent, Hardened Scales number 2. Passes. Castle Embreth, play it. Instigator. Make some dorks. We're 1 point of damage short because we had to throw so much burden at our opponent creature. Surge a Bushwhacker. Go to combat. Hit our opponent to 1. And pray for no Ballista. No Ballista 1 time. Oh my god, this game's so close. Opponent. No Ballista. Scoops it up. No Ballista. Woo! $40 8-whack. Whoa. Through the Blossoming Defense. Goodness. And maybe this deck's actually pretty good. Whoa, man, it is scary to know your opponent has top decks to kill you, but our deck, it can pour on the damage, and it showed some surprising resilience there. Abrade fizzled by Blossoming Defense. We follow it up, stoke the flame, clear the board, eventually whack our way to the win. Whew! Alright, yeah, that is pretty impressive. That might be the most impressive win for our deck so far. Sweet. So what did we learn this week about $40 8-whack and Pioneer, and the deck felt really good. We went 4-1. Our one loss came to Jeskai control, where our opponent just wrath their board, and then had Fiery Cannonade to wrath their board at instant speed. They just had so many sweepers starting on turn 3, which is pretty tough for our deck. We don't have a ton of ways of rebuilding. We're pretty all in. Burn spells can help, but if our opponent's wrathing the board on turn 4, they're much more effective. On turn 4, we usually have gotten in like a big attack with a Bushwhacker, or if we won the die roll with Castle Castle Embrith, and then our bird spells can finish it off. But in matchups where opponents playing a bunch of 3-mana sweepers, like Deafening Clarions, Fiery Cannonades, Anger of the Gods, Sweltering Suns, that's where things get a little bit more sketchy, because we might never get in that big attack, and without that one big attack, our bird spells aren't going to be enough to close out the game. So that was our one loss. On the other hand, we took down a very sweeper-heavy Gates, Mazes End, Field of the Dead, I don't even know, like some sort of Gates, Field of the Dead style of deck, through multiple sweepers, which was pretty impressive. We took down Hardened Scales in an insanely close match, one of the best decks of the format. We beat Teamer Energy with Aetherworks Marvel, we beat White Weenie, so the deck actually felt very effective. And I have to say, if you're someone who's played 8-Wack in other formats, and we've showed this off before, because I think it's one of the better budget decks for Modern as well, if you're an 8-Wack player, this is definitely the perfect budget deck for you. And if you just want to try out Pioneer, and you don't want to have a big investment, and you like aggro style decks, I feel like this is a really solid option. Like, you can't get much cheaper than $43. That is about as cheap as a deck can get in the Pioneer format, and I think this is actually a pretty competitive deck. We saw the bad. We saw the game where we drew 7 lands out of 14 cards, couldn't quite get in the last, 3 points of damage because we drew too many lands. We saw the bad against Jeskai control, where opponent just, swept our board, swept our board, swept our board, but we also saw the good. We saw our deck take down Hardened Scales, where opponent put up really good defense, put up big blockers, and we were able to overcome that with Stoke the Flame, taking down our opponent's big defenses. We saw our deck overcome the Gates matchup, where opponent had a ton of sweepers, and we were still able to piece together enough burn to close out the game. So I feel like this deck is actually a really great option for budget in Pioneer. So if you enjoy red aggro decks, if you're a 8-Wack fan, if you like playing aggro, or you just want to try out Pioneer for as cheap as possible, I would definitely give 8-Wack a recommendation. It's a good budget deck for Modern, and apparently it's a very good budget deck for Pioneer as well. So anyway, that's been our budget magic for this week. 8-Wack for Pioneer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.